So how did a young man like yourself actually keep track of all of this? I can only guess that you must have been run off your feet, very stressed, or did you somehow from your mentors at that time pick up a few little shortcuts and tricks of the trade that enabled you to stay on top of it all?
Yeah, I worked a few things out myself. I realised that the clerks would, after they go and get the lists, a lot of them would just sort of have a chat, and where I'd come straight back to work, and I would then be available to take calls where solicitors were unloading work for the next day that they'd been rung up about and said their counsel were part heard, so they couldn't do their matter. So I was on the spot. But a great clerk who I did take a lot of notice of was Freddie de Sachs. Now, Freddie was on the 7th floor. He had the preeminent floor at that time with, the Gleesons, the Streets, and Sir Victor Maxwell and Jack Smythe and some of the great names of the bar. And Freddie was the clerk that really had his counsel eating out of his hand. He also commanded the respect of solicitors, and he then would dole out work, and I realised that he also would only give it to people that he thought were capable of doing it, not for the sake of giving them a brief just for doing the brief. Every brief he gave to one of his barristers was capable of doing that matter. So that's the sort of rule that I followed, that I would go off the floor and give it to a counsel that, in my view, was the best counsel for that brief. And you gained, by doing that, the solicitor's respect, which means they came back to you, so the counsel on your floor only prospered.
How did you acquire so much knowledge of the law in such a short time? It's so different to the career path of a barrister. So, I mean, I know in a sense it's the court of human experience, you might say, and that would have been your experience, but all the same, that is the... I guess that's the equivalent of describing a crash course, if you like, in human nature and acumen, if you like, in working out who, as you say, was up to the task and who wasn't.
Yeah, I know a lot of clerks now say that that you should go and watch your counsel in court. I don't believe in that, because you've got to realise who you are, and we aren't legally qualified. So how do I know that a particular argument a counsel is putting up is a good argument? I'm a great one for, and I still do it in every sort of any area that I want to find out about. I find out about everyone by just asking some questions. So when the junior counsel come onto the floor, we have a readers program. I give them work to go to court with silks or juniors. As soon as they come back, I said, "What do you think?" They then give me a summary of what they think of the counsel and where their strength and weaknesses are, whether they're good cross-examiners or whether they're good on the written work. So then I know exactly what area to try and to steer them in.
So it's a bit like having stringers in journalism.
Yeah, that's correct.
I can sort of, now I'm getting, maybe my war room analogy wasn't quite right. Maybe it's more like you're in charge of a great big current affairs news desk and you're sending out your news hounds.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.